RSS comes across as a cultural organization which aims to unite Hindus and build a Hindu nation. It also aims to instill discipline in Hindus, which it deems necessary for rejuvenating the Hindu religion and for cultural revivalism. Hello viewers, Vanakkam Namaskaram to all of you. My name is Amit and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. So friends, this is today we are going to talk about RSS, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, whom many people call Sanghis. And the fact remains this organization has been at the forefront of Hindu nationalism since 1925. There have been six chiefs of this organization till date. The incumbent, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, is Sar Sangh Chalak from 2009. And the most conventional and acceptable motive of RSS from those times till today is to counter the dominance of Muslims, the rise of Muslim nationalism, and to protect the Hindus from these threats. Friends, when we talk about all this, we need to understand in what context the RSS scheme was established. During those times in the earlier 20th century, Nagpur in central India, which today is the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra, was predominantly a Marathi speaking city based in central India. And there were various communities living there, basically Marathi speaking. And the Mahars, which were basically the depressed classes of those times, had witnessed a resurge. So they had become prosperous in all the fields. And when they had become prosperous, what they had done is that they had made up some organizations, built some organizations, which used to inculcate in people the values to live lives. They used to speak about untouchability. They used to speak about the rights of human beings. But the fact remains, whatever they spoke was always within the ambit of the Hindu religion. So even in 1913, they organized a conference of Mahars, well-to-do Mahars, in the town hall of Nagpur, which was attended by the well-off people from the Mahar community and even by some great leaders of those times. So those were the times when India was changing actually. And this was regarding Mahars. Now let's talk about one of the greatest figures, non-Brahmin figures in Indian history. That would be Mahatma Jyotiba Rao Phule. He had established Satya Sodak Samaj in 1883. Now he was anti-Brahmin, he was anti-caste, and he sought equality of the human beings. So his message found resonance between the Dalits, the Shudras, and the depressed classes, and they started joining his movement because he talked about equality, even talked about women's rights. So the branches of his Satya Shodak Samaj were established in all the Marathi speaking areas. They were also established in Vidarbha region. So that was a time when the lower classes were basically forming a resurgence. Now, when they were forming a resurgence, there were some people who were in power since the ages. And who were these people? These people were the Brahmins. They were the Savarnas of the Hindu society. And see, what these people sought was, the depressed classes sought was, very few things, the very basic things. They wanted rights of temple entry, they wanted education, they wanted an end to untouchability, they wanted jobs in public sector. So when these movements were resurging, politics was also taking place, and politics was taking place. Morley Monte reforms were done in 1909, and according to them, the Muslims were provided different electorates. And the British also accepted the Muslim League demand that the depressed classes and the tribals should not be counted among the Hindus. So, as a result, when 1911 census came into being, Hindus were divided into three categories. First would be the Hindus, second would be the depressed classes, third would be the animist Hindus, that is the tribes of today. So this changed the entire calculus. What the Brahmins and the Hindus and the Congress party had thought that eventually British will leave India, and owing to their numerical superiority, the reins of power would come into their hands. But now this was going to get upended, since the depressed classes would sooner or later demand their separate representation, political representation from the Hindu community on these very grounds. So in the background of these actually things what were happening around at that time in Maharashtra, various conferences of depressed classes were organized in Maharashtra from 1970 to 1920. Around 4 conferences were organized of depressed classes. Shahuji Maharaj of Kolhapur had organized a depressed classes conference in 1920 in Nagpur. And during these conferences, these classes started demanding different representation for themselves and to untouchability, civic rights. And the Congress party and its Brahminical order, which till now was averse to providing the rights to these depressed classes, they were forced to participate in these conferences, including great Bal Gangadhar Tilak, which they would have opposed earlier. Now they were forced to actually discuss it on a public forum. As regards the Hindu nationalists of those times, they considered that whatever these people are saying, the depressed classes are saying, it is a part of missionary, what missionaries are saying, these people are saying, and they are being actually encouraged by the missionaries and the non-Hindu elements. So this was the stand of the Hindu nationalists. And the elites of Nagpur at that time, Jat Chitpavan Brahmins and the Deshashtra Brahmins were very concerned. So in 1925, the RSS was formed. And the fact remains, it was formed as an opposing force to Muslim dominance, Muslim assertion. And secondly, it is alleged that it was formed as a front to preempt the revolution of the depressed classes by taking them into Hindu fold, providing them Hindu identity, and making them a bulkwark against the Muslim challenge. So the success of RSS during that time was that it countered both. It countered Muslim assertiveness and it countered the force of the depressed classes. So the depressed classes, which would have mounted a challenge to Brahmin dominance, they were taken into the fold of RSS and they were put as flag bearers of Hindu nationalism, that they would actually save the Hindu religion against the onslaughts of the Muslims and become a bulwark against the threat of the Muslims. That was the success of RSS at that time. The social engineering that they did, that the depressed classes got the identity of Hindus. They were taken into the RSS fold. The RSS shakhas took place. So during those shakhas, on a symbolism note, there were no caste differences. But the fact remains, till date, the hegemony of the Brahmins has prevailed in RSS. Leaving aside Mr. Rajendra Singh, who also came from a Thakur family, Rajput family, 5 Sarsang Chalaks have been Brahmins in RSS. So this was the background around there at that time. when the RSS was formed. You see, Muslims could be countered by the Hindu nationalism that Muslims are a threat to India. They have been ruling us from past 1200 years. Our religion is in danger. Let us, if the Britishers are going, let us take our nation. So they could be countered that ways. But what about the depressed classes? What about the Dalits? And what about the Shudras and the tribals? How to assimilate them? They couldn't be actually countered by power. They had actually maintained the hegemony of the Brahmins till centuries. The social order had maintained the hegemony of the Brahmins from centuries. So instead of coercion, co-option was taken as an option. They were co-opted into the Hindu fold. They were given the bigger stature of Hindu nationalism or becoming the safeguarders of Hindu religion, while the caste system still existed. Fact remains, RSS till date does actually make statements about caste discrimination, but it has never said that the caste system was bad. Mr. Golwarkar, the second Sir Jalak, the second chief of RSS, is said to have praised Manu Smriti. He has even referred to Manu Smriti's writer Manu as a god. And he has quoted and he has said that in one of his texts, he has said that it is the best law that God has given to the world. So what is this Manusmriti? The Manusmriti is the text which legitimizes the caste system. Just think. And it is the text which tells that the corporal punishment for the lowest of the crimes can be given to the depressed classes, the Dalits, and the Shudras. So this is what we can see through. Actually, in today's environment, it is very tough to understand these things because you get a biased opinion. We are actually, we get an overdose of the national media, which is anyways biased today. They won't talk these things, but these are the facts. So we are talking about those times, earlier 20th century, and contrasted it with what was happening in Tamil Nadu. Fact remains, Justice Party was formed, but Justice Party was never an anti-Brahmin movement. It was a non-Brahmin party. But when it comes to the self-respect movement, it talked about rationalism. It talked about self-respect of an individual. So if a person could inculcate a self-respect for himself, he would start respecting himself, then only he would progress in life. He would value his life. Self-respect movement talked about the rights of women. So Tamils during those times understood what the value of a human life is, human dignity is. So that is the very reason those black shirt wearing people in Tamil Nadu, the Pereyaris, they understood that the worth of human life is very important. And they understood what has happened to the society due to these caste divisions, due to this Brahmin hegemony, which unfortunately the people in the north could not understand and have not understood till date. And that is the very reason Tamil Nadu went on the path of progress. In 1937, Hindi was supposed to be made compulsory in all Tamil Nadu schools in Madras Presidency of that time. But Tamils rose against it because they had pride of their language. They saw it as an agenda of Brahmin domination and Aryan domination. So they could see through those things even during those times, and for God's sake, it's 100 years now. Lots of water has flown down the Kaveri River by then till now. So we as Indians need to be pragmatic. We should not be biased. You don't listen to my views and believe them blindly. Think, go to your place, and if you have time, think about what I said. And try to check it out. Google is available, literature is available everywhere. Try to check it out and tell me where whatever I've stated, whether it is right or wrong. A society has to be inclusive, and you cannot throw 200 million of your citizens, the Muslims, into sea. They are also the citizens of India. This land, as much as it belongs to you and me, it also belongs to them. Fact remains, those people have maintained their cultural identity from, from the times immemorial, from the 11th century when they came to India, because for them their religion is important. But that doesn't mean that we start discriminating against them, we start treating them as second class citizens. India is for all. So friends, this was my message. I hope you liked my video, and if you did, kindly like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel, Layman History and Geopolitics. And if possible, kindly make an effort to join my channel as a member. The monthly membership fee is not even equal to 2 cups of tea. So friends, that was all from me. I hope you liked my video. Welcome, namaskar to all of you. Thank you.